our Lord Jesus. Peace be with you, brother. My name's Gregor, and
You can call me Siskin. Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment?
did you say purgatory?
You'll see soon enough.
I'd like to ask you... Well, that's all.
What troubles you?
Will you tell me something?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so...
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smith? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to... I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me, in a monastery.
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want...
No, not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or nothing. If it had come to...
They must have realised you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my brothers, my...
And you stashed away the remainder?
Indeed so.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver.
That's all I want.
Please, keep it to yourself. Especially the...
Will you tell me...
Look, nothing again.
Are you hiding?
I'm hiding a lot. I've no...
That's all I...
Please.
There's something I should tell you. Something you won't be happy to hear. I'm here to find someone and, well, to do away with him. But listen, it's not murder. Not when it's a man like him.
What's he doing here? And who are you?
They call him pious because he used to be a priest. When he found out a lot of people were after him, he hid away here. They sent me here to find him and bring him to justice. He's one of the...
So we have one outlaw and one assassin in our midst. This place is a lot...
Well, that's just it. It could be Antonius?
Antonius? He's a fine fellow. No, it can't be him.
See how hard it is? It could be anyone, and at the same time, nobody... I won't tell you.
You're talking about killing in the monastery. I really...
Would you do that?
You're right. I'll keep it to myself. I've got problems enough of my own.
Thank you, Siskin. How is it that you don't get...
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time.
I'd be interested... Tell me about Antonius.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with, of course, the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a...
That's all. Who would you elect?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow and he seems honest. The monastery will still be a monastery, no matter who...
I found this piece of parchment.
I've no idea. Why don't you ask Brother Librarian?
I'd like to ask... Well, that's all.
You've seen us drinking here, so either join in or swear you won't tell a soul. You won't want to end up...
I don't want to drink with you, but I promise I won't say a word to anyone.
You youngsters have got no backbone. Still, remember what you promised. One word about this and we'll make your life hell. And if you ever...
Praise be to Christ.
I'd like to... Can you leave?
Where would you go? You've everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here.
What can you tell me about...
And what can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God.
I meant something specific.
But you know them yourself. Yorick is Antonius is hard work.
What are the roles of the
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prime. As a novice, you should be particular.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
Well, it was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago.
Heretics, you...
They wanted to worship God with some foreign...
Can you tell me something?
7 centuries ago, St. Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic... The fundamental precepts are obedience, work...
Do you never want to know what...
And what should...
Tell me something... What are you doing here?
What does it look like?
But...
Youngster, when you're as old as I, you'll understand.
But you're the cicators. You're the ones meant to be keeping order here. How can gambling and drinking be a fitting part of a monk...
If you really want to know, see for yourself.
All right.
Praise be to Christ.
I'd like to...
I'll say one thing, brother. This wine would... Gregor.
I'd like to... Are there ever... Tell me something...
The old...
I thought...
Down the hatch.
Every gulp and trace.
No wonder. With our throats going dry all day.
Next time we'll get Yorick to bring some Rhine wine. I'm losing my taste for this one.
Why doesn't Yorick drink with us, anyway?
He's young, and he wants to look good in front of the others. And he doesn't trust us to keep him as... What is it?
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars were guarded.
So they are. But listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty, and we need a new one.
I'll help you. What do I need to do?
Ha! I knew it. Help Novice Yorick arrange for a new cask. Talk to him first thing.
All right, I'll talk to him. You mentioned Yodok. What is he?
Oh, nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes...
I'd like to... About you and...
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something about Nevla.
Nevertheless is weak and toothless.
I'd like to know what's going...
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities as we. Nevertheless is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs.
I'd like to help you if...
I'm convinced Nevertheless must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out.
So, I should dig something up on him and tell...
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevertheless is too cunning and careful.
Once I find something out, I'll tell... I'd like to help... So,
Here
I'd like to... So, I'm sorry, but...
Here
Thank you for answering. What did you want me to...
dig up some dirt.
About you and...
Ask me anything you want.
I'd like... So...
Exact.
I'm sorry, but...
Here
Thank you for... Let's play!
Just the man we've been waiting for.
I'll say one thing, brother. This wine would grace the Pope's table.
This is not a good time for questions. Can't you see we're at Mass? Can't you see we're... Can't you see? This is not a good time for questions.
Peace be with you, brother.
Praise be to Christ.
I'd like to ask... I'm Gregor.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nebulus, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling...
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and...
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life, and that any surpluses go... But in reality, I spend all my time...
Is there anything I can...
You know, there is. Perhaps you've heard that Abbot Peter is gravely... I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few...
You can count on my help.
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now, you know, most of the brothers believe. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to... The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the LIBRI...
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book...
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would...
Is there anything you...
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or...
Why can't you do...
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot.
You could just ask.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately...
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To part, they say Brother Solarius understands locks. But don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it. We'll soon have the election of the abbot.
I'm interested. Why? What's wrong with it?
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer.
What sins?
The scripture says, let he who is without sin... I'm sorry, Gregor, it's not my place to...
Tell me something.
When he becomes...
I'll be interested.
I don't like...
Why do you...
I'd like to change...
That's all.
This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear of hell, and the glory of life everlasting, as soon as anything has been ordered by the superior...
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. It was...
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't...
pleasing to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation. Delay,
I'd like to know something about...
I don't...
for the obedience given
What can you tell me about...
Not a lot. I don't know him. Actually, I...
Tell me about...
lips, but simply in his heart.
You really don't...
Don't get upset.
Yet his word will not be acceptable to God, who sees that his heart is firm, and far from gaining a reward for
I'd like to ask you...
this, he will incur the punishment due
Well, that's...
unless he amend and make satisfaction. The rule of Saint Benedict.
What do you desire?
Readings on Hail Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that
Greetings,
end
brother.
we think the time
Greetings to you, brother.
prescribed as
I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices.
calendar
I hope you'll like it here in the morning.
Trouble?
come out from
You're young, perhaps intemperate.
whatever is necessary.
You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks.
Let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour having
I'm
left,
interested...
let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone
I'm interested...
perhaps wanted to read,
Do you know anything about...
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop.
said rather
Antonius he's always happy to help, which is more than
them again do what work has to be done.
I'm interested...
nobody
Do you have any grounds?
quite a lot.
Should be assigned a task or craft of such
What can you...
as to keep
Oh,
them idle,
I'm surprised.
at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away.
Sounds like you don't have...
Their
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him.
by the abbot.
Believe me.
The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he
I was
should
talking
perform
last
as
night
good
with the brother Cicators.
by his deeds even more
It seems you're
by
to fetch them a cask of wine.
expounding the Lord's
Like last
commandments
time.
and words to the
Hey,
intelligible
well-
among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts
like to help
by
you.
actions for those of harder hearts and ruder
To get hold of the wine, we'll have to leave the monastery for a bit. If wine started going missing here, someone would notice. But to leave the monastery, we need the keys.
Wait a moment. Are you saying I'm supposed to steal the prior's keys so I can go and steal wine somewhere else?
You see why I don't want to do it myself now, do you? I don't have what it takes. I can't get those keys, but you could.
But you've done it once before, haven't you?
But since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear.
How can I get hold of the keys?
I don't know. but it might be possible to do this without them. Brother Celarius, the cellar keeper, used to be a burglar.
Do you think he'll want to take part in theft?
No, but he could give some advice, or maybe get some lockpick.
If you think so.
Once you have the key or some lockpicks, come and see me and we'll...
by stripes and other bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool is not
About those
correct
keys.
with words.
Did you get them?
And again,
Not yet.
beat your
Well, hurry
son
up then.
with a rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the spirit of silence. Let us do what the prophet says. I said, I will guard my ways, that I may not sin with my tongue. I have set a guard to my mouth.
I'm Gregor and
I know. I saw you in the church during ceremony.
Here,
I have the feeling
What does that mean?
spirit of silence.
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that
And when it's not the way it should be?
then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But
Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important, permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples.
I'd like to ask you something.
Good, holy, edifying conversation. For it is written, in much speaking you will not escape sin. And in another place, death and life are in the power of the tongue. For speaking and teaching belong to the master. The
Talk to me.
disciple's part is to be silent and to listen. And for that reason, if anything is to be asked of the superior, it should be asked with all the humility and submission inspired by reverence.
What do you dis...
But as for coarse jests and idle words or words that move for laughter, these we condemn everywhere with a perpetual vow. And for such conversation we do not permit a disciple
What is...
to open his mouth. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching.
What do you desire, brother?
Say, he should show them all that is good and holy by his deeds.
I'm looking for something a little...
And what would that be?
Granting the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those
I need to get some...
who are hearts
You're not the only one.
and minds.
But I have to keep records of all the casks, and the prior checks on them. He'd notice any loss straight away. Just like our food, everything is rationed.
From him, more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons.
I'm looking for lock...
Lock
Let him
picks?
not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works.
I'd like to practice...
Well, why not?
Let him not shut
So
his
you heard
mouth
I used to be a burglar, did
to
you?
offenders.
I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks. Can't...
Remembering the well disposed in those of good understanding, let him correct with verbal admonition the first and second time.
Talk to me, brother.
Cold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning of their ill-doing by striking.
Brother, I've a favour to ask. And I think you're the man to...
I see, so it's the dodgy sort.
Well, yes.
And again,
That won't be easy, I can tell you that straight off.
and you will deliver his
A
soul
prior...
from death. The rule of Saint Benedict. Reading
Could you take...
Rob the prior?
idleness
You wouldn't be doing it...
Then what could you possibly pay me? I'm done with my thieving, and you'd have to offer me a whole...
How much would you want?
A princely sum, brother.
That much? Where am I supposed to find that?
Precisely. But no groschen, no theft.
I'm looking for...
And
Until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th
No,
hour
nothing.
until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour...
You have some...
what's there to tell? We were all young and foolish once.
So you turned to stealing?
I set about securing a livelihood as best I could. A goose? Without that little bit extra, I'd never have completed my studies. I would have turned into a beggar. And who?
No one, brother.
Weak or sickly brethren should be
I'd like to-
assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep...
Who would you like to be?
What kind of question is that? John, of course.
excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot. The rule of Saint...
I'd like to discuss...
Well, we can...
So much the more of the punishment for sin makes avoid evil words. Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so silence, even though it be for good,
What do you desire, brother?
edifying conversation. For it is written,
Let's have a word about the...
I will guard my ways, that I may not sin with my tongue. I have set a guard to my mouth. I was mute and was humbled and kept silence even from good things. Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times to refrain even from good speech, so much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words.
Greg.
Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important,
I'm looking for...
And what...
should rarely be granted even to
I'm looking for...
Lock picks?
for good, holy, edifying conversation.
I'd like to...
Well, why not? So you heard I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat.
For such
Can we do something...
a disciple to open his mouth. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching.
What is it?
That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words, expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among
What would
his
you-
disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds.
Is there any way I could...
Abbot
What would you
should
like to do?
always remember
Climb up the
what he is
tower?
and what
Not
he is
exactly.
called, and should
John
know
isn't
that
my opponent, he's my brother. But there is something you
him
could help me
all
with.
is required.
You must know there's a
No
great deal of
distinction
iniquity.
persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another. Unless
Should I find out for you what's going on around
better
here?
in good works
Let me make
or
this
in
clear.
obedience. And
I
let
want to
him
base
not
my
shut his
candidacy
eyes to
on
faults of
putting
offenders,
things in order.
but
But
since
if
he
I
has
don't
the
know exactly...
Very good
let
then.
him cut out
Oh,
those
thank you,
faults
brother.
by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of silence, the well-disposed and those of good understanding, let him correct with verbal
What do you want me to...
I'd be interested to hear about any iniquity in the monastery.
hard,
I need...
proud and disobedient characters. He should curb at the very beginning.
I've discovered something.
by
I
stripes
see.
And other bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool is not corrected with words.
That's all I know.
If you find out anything...
The son with the rod, he will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the spirit of silence. Let us do what the prophet says. I said, I will guard my lips, I may not speak with my tongue. I have set a guard to my mouth.
Oh, Greg.
Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times.
I know you're pious. The man...
So you're finally sure? Tell me, Gregor, or Carl, or whatever your true name is.
Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, at least you're prepared to think and not just play bloodhound for a pack of nobodies. And I'm glad you have your doubt.
I don't want to be like the people I'm looking for. If I have to kill...
You know, we're both pawns in someone else's game. They have plans for us. But we don't have to let them use us. I was a bandit, and I was at Nyhoff. I've robbed and stolen. But what I saw at Nyhoff made me realize my life was worth shit. But I still had a chance to change for the better. Here in the monastery, I've had plenty of time to think.
So the evildoer changes his ways and finds God.
Both of us can leave this place. You can go back to your people, and I can go somewhere where I can live out my life in peace, and no one will try to kill me.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From Easter until the calends of October.
What if I wanted a different option?
You could kill another novice, I suppose. If news of the murder got out from the monastery, my former friends might believe I'm dead. But before we make a run for it, we'll make it look like someone's killed me. Loads of blood, a tattered scrap of my habit, and footprints leading toward... There we'll split up. You go for your bounty, and I'll get as far away...
Let none be said rather early at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be.
All right then. I'll kill...
Another senseless death. But at least it will buy me a life of peace here. You should take this. They know it was mine. And perhaps it will bring you more luck than me.
You have to kill if you don't want to be killed.
But you don't have to kill anyone. It's your choice, and it will burden your soul.
I'll deal with it somehow.
The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of nothing here but Christ. Because of the Lord's service, confess and feel the glory of life For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill will,
Aha, Gregor.
not necessarily
Talk to me.
in his lips, but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet his word will not be acceptable.
I'd like to discuss...
Aye. For that. Aha, Gregor.
Can we do something about...
Well, we can tough luck.
What is it, brother?
I'd like to...
Peace be with you, brother.
Don't move a muscle. Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle hands are the devil's...
I was feeling a bit queasy.
Really? Fine then. This time I will forgive you.
About you...
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something about...
Nevertheless is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me. Enough.
I'd like to know what...
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities as we. Nevertheless is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs. All he cares...
I'd like to help you if I can.
I am convinced Nevertheless must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out. If he was preaching water and drinking wine, for example.
So I should dig something up on him?
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevertheless is too cunning and careful.
Once I find something out, I'll... I'd like to help.
I am convinced Nevertheless must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out. If he was preaching water and...
So I should dig...
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have it.
I'm sorry, but that...
He who aids a sinner sins himself.
Thank you for answering.
What troubles you?
I've discovered something about the wrongs, but...
I see.
That's all I know.
If you find out anything else, come to me. I'd be interested to hear it.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. You'll find ingredients in the chests next. Concoct 2 buck's blood potions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check them. Salve Domini. What do you desire?
I've finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough. What trouble?
Praise be to...
Is it possible to let...
Only the abbot and the prior keep such...
And can I see them?
No. The abbot writes and keeps his records in his chambers and are...
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
It appears to be a...
Ovid? What is that? Is it the name of a book?
Not what, but who? Ovid was a great Roman poet. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, may the earth rest lightly on him, was quite narrow. If he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned. Ovid's The Art of Love must have been such a thorn in his...
Oh, would you like me to put the book...
Absolutely. Eustace's wits weren't the sharpest, so I'm sure he didn't... I imagine he hid them throughout the monastery. It might take you a while to find them all, but when you do, you can rest assured Ovid will return to his rightful place.
Good.
Thank you, brother. It's of no great importance.
Can you tell me something about...
The Art of Love is a sort of manual instructing young people how to find and maintain love. It's a lovely work. I don't understand what bothered Eustace so much about.
Where should I look?
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you to do it. The pages...
I've heard there are some forbidden books locked up in the library.
That's correct. They're here, safe.
Could a book be prohibited by mistake?
No errors are made. Every book on the prohibited list is there for a reason.
How does a book get on the forbidden list?
Forbidden works are full of heresy and blasphemy and witchcraft. If you...
I don't need to hear any... I've heard about a...
Who told you about that?
I found a few pages of the torn.
Wonderful. Keep looking then.
I'd like to... I'm here to work.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life. But it's easier. Here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you read in the original. Is that clear?
You're interested in what's inside? Forbidden books, written
Salve
by the devil
Domine.
himself. Forget about them.
Oh, this is quite an...
What is it, brother?
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books.
What is it, brother?
Oh, you're interested in what's inside?
What would you...
What is it, brother?
I'm still curious about this treasure trove of yours.
It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
What kind of a book is it?
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. It's the Necronomicon. Ghosts, demons, and invocations of powers beyond our world. Only it's written in a strange language. Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables.
Oh, I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada would say about a book like that.
Ah, prejudice. But you're right, it is prohibited.
You're right.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Just take a look at the book. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it...
I'll leave you be. Don't worry.
Thank you. And please, Gregor.
Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle hands are the devil's workshop.
I had other affairs that needed to be attended.
Really? This time I'll look the other way.
Talk to me, bro.
I'm still...
It's no...
What kind of a...
I found it. Who knows?
Oh, you're up.
Just please.
What kind...
It's the...
Oh. If it wasn't harmful, it wouldn't be for...
That's a rather limited view of the world. Some write about the saints. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers...
I'll...
Servo.
Stop, Gregor!
Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working some...
I definitely was there. I did come a little late.
Really? I'll pretend.
Peace be with you.
Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important, permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect silence, even though it be for good, holy, edifying conversation.
What is it, brother?
For it is written, in much speaking you will not escape sin.
I'd like to ask you...
And in another place, death
Well, that's all.
are in the power of the tongue. For speaking and teaching belong to the master. The disciples' part is to be silent and to listen. And for that reason, if anything has to be asked of the superior, it should be asked with all the humility and submission inspired by reverence. But as for coarse jests and idle words or words that move to laughter, these we condemn everywhere with a perpetual ban. And for such conversation we do not permit a disciple
Gregor.
his mouth. The rule of Saint Benedict, readings on the spirit of silence. Let us do what the prophet
Can you tell...
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was... You know what?
I have set a guard to my mouth. I was mute and was humbled and kept silence even from good things. Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times to refrain even from good speech, so much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words. Therefore, since this spirit of silence is so important, permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples. Holy
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Well, probably the same as you. I want to be able to read in peace and...
What exactly do you read here?
Well, I'd be interested to find the unofficial biography of Saint Procopius, but there probably is no such thing. But if that locked cabinet there with all the forbidden books was open, until recently it was still unlocked, but after something vanished, they've kept it locked.
Maybe I could get in.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'd love to pore over some of those tomes.
We'll see what I can do. Ah, This looks like the Saracen language. Ibn al-Hassan. That's who I'm looking for. Avicenna.
Silence even from good things. Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times to refrain even from good speech, so much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words. Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important, permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples, even though it be for good, holy, edifying conversation. For it is written, in much
What
speaking
trouble?
you will not escape sin. And in another place, death and life are in the power of the tongue. For speaking and teaching belong to the master. The disciples are to be silent and to listen. And for that reason, if anything has to be asked, it should be asked with all humility and submission.
What is it, brother?
I'm looking.
And
I'm looking. I'd like. Can we do something?
well, we could.
Agree?
More. Aye, that. Talk to me, brother.
Talk to me.
Let's talk about...
Well, we
condemn everywhere with a perpetual ban. And for such conversation,
Finally, a reasonable sum.
open his mouth. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily.
Talk to me.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul. The times of each may be
I'd like to
from Easter until the calends of October.
Satisfied?
It'll take more than that.
In the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour.
All right, so.
From the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading.
Aha, Gregor.
Let them rest on their beds in perfect silence. Or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as
Salve Domine.
anyone else. Let none sit rather early at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on humility. The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the
Praise
virtue
be to
of
Christ.
those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear
Here's the book you wanted.
the glory
Amazing. This really is it. Now I can use it to prepare a cure for our suffering abbot. Then I'll leave it in the library to make it seem as if there'll be no investigation. It would be against his best interests, as he'll look like the one who wasn't taking proper care of the books. It will drive him, is there anything I can do for you in return?
lukewarmness, grumbling, or objection. For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the
How can a novice get out?
And what would you do out there?
not necessarily
I'm sorry I can't help you.
in his heart, then even though he fulfills
I'd be interested in finding out...
That's a strange wish you have. And they keep a record of every monk in the abbot's book.
Thanks.
No, thank you. About that book. Don't even think about breaking in to get it.
unless he amend and make satisfaction. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives